Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Dr. Nikat Aslam from Department of Biochemistry. This lecture is about the regulation of eukaryotic gene expression. In my previous lecture, we studied about the regulation of prokaryotic gene expression. So let's move on with the eukaryotic gene expression. As you know that there is a wide range of regulatory processes as compared to the prokaryotes. So because their genes are more complex, they have more number of chromosomes, and again the operons, they are not found in the eukaryotes, so in the eukaryotes there must be some alternate strategy to solve the problem of how there is the coordination of regulation, and how these regulation of gene expression it occurs in the eukaryotes. In the eukaryotes, gene expression is regulated at multiple levels other than the transcription, but the major mode of regulation is by the way of post-transcriptional regulation at mRNA levels. It may be at the alternative mRNA splicing, or control of mRNA stability, control of translational efficiency. We will see all of these points in our next slides. Additional regulation, they may be at the protein levels also. DNA and chromosomes, their regulation may be controlled by the DNA and chromosomes. It includes the chromosome remodeling, gene rearrangement, transcription through the transcription factors that affect the binding of the RNA polymerase to the promoter, processing of the transcripts. There is another way by which there is the regulation of gene expression, also initiation of the translation and stability of mRNA. All these are the points by which there is the eukaryotes, they regulate their gene expression. This picture shows a very good relationship between the different factors and different elements, trans-acting factors and cis-acting elements. Here you are seeing that there is a specific transcription factors. Here is the hormone receptor. This acts as specific transcription factors, and it bounds on the HRE, hormone response element. This is the part of the DNA where STF, specific transcription factor, it bound. The STF has two domains. It has a DNA binding domain at this site, and at here it has the transcription activation domain. And this domain, TAD, it recruits all the coactivators, mediator proteins, Tata binding proteins, and also the RNA polymerases. This is known as combinatorial control. Expression of coordinate regulation in eukaryotes. There is another example. We will see the coordinate regulation also in the galactose circuit. Galactose is used by the eukaryotic cells when the glucose is not available. In yeast, unicellular organism, the gene required to metabolize galactose, they are on different chromosome, and their expression, the coordinate expression, this is mediated by a protein GAL4, and this is the protein GAL4. Again, this protein, it acts as transcription factor, protein factor. It has the two domains, DNA binding domain and TAD, which is the transcription activation domain. When the galactose is absent, the GAL80, it bounds here, it bounds with the GAL4 protein, and all this complex, it binds at the DNA region. This is called the UAS, means the upstream activating sequence. When the sugar is absent, the regulatory protein GAL80, it binds the GAL4 at its TAD, and thereby inhibiting the gene transcription. But when the galactose is absent, this GAL80 will bound at the GAL3. This GAL3 is actually activated by the galactose when the galactose is present. This GAL3 is activated. So the binding of GAL3 with the GAL80 will free this GAL4, and so the transcription will occur. So this is the example of coordinate expression, coordinate regulation of eukaryotic genes, and in that genes we see how the galactose metabolism is regulated. Cis-acting regulatory elements, we have studied these proteins, about these regulatory elements before in our previous slides. However, a protein binds to the regulatory elements for each of the gene in the group and coordinately affect the expression of those genes even if they are on the different chromosomes. So HRE, they are the cis-acting DNA sequences. Elements, when we talk about the elements, they are always the DNA sequences. It binds with the protein called the trans-acting protein factors and thus coordinately regulate the gene expression. Regulatory signals mediated by intracellular receptors. We will see the two types of examples. One is by signals mediated by the intracellular receptors and other by the cell surface receptors. You have also studied these receptors in first year and the signal transduction. Here we are again seeing these are the this is the transcriptional regulation by intracellular steroid hormone receptor, and steroid hormone here is the cortisol. Other hormones also, for example retinoic acid or thyroid hormones, they also they bind to the receptors, and these receptors, they function as STF, and they bound at these receptors, and when the binding of these hormone to the nuclear receptor causes conformational change in the receptor and uncovers its zinc finger DNA domain. These dimers, they bind at the GRE elements of the DNA sequences. The steroid receptor complexes interact with the specific regulatory DNA sequences by the DNA binding domain. Here by the TAD transcription activation domain, they recruits other proteins, for example the RNA polymerases, other coactivators, and thus by their coordination there is the regulation of gene transcription. Another example is by the cell surface receptor. You have also studied its detail in the first year in the signal transduction. Here there is again a little bit of it. These hormones or intracellular signal, they bind at the receptors at the surface, and here this is the G protein coupled receptor, and this activate the enzyme adenyl cyclase, which will produce the cyclic AMP. This cyclic AMP it mediate phosphorylation at CREB. CREB is the CAMP response element binding protein, and this act as trans-acting factor. This phosphorylation will allow the RNA polymerase to start its work, which is the start of the transcription. So this is the example of how the transcription is regulated by the receptor located in the cell membrane and by the way of various second messengers, for example the cyclic AMP. Now the regulation by the messenger RNA processing and its uses. Capping at the 5' end, polyadenylation at the 3' end, and the splicing. They are the essential processing events for the production of a functional eukaryotic messenger from the most pre-mRNA. And variations in these events, it causes the gene expression. The first of all, alternative polyadenylation. Polyadenylation, some pre-mRNA transcripts, they have more than one site for the cleavage and polyadenylation. This generates mRNA with different 3' ends, and thus the different types of the proteins they are made. This is the example how the different forms of the immunoglobulins they are made. Another is by the splice site choice. This is the tissue specific alternative splicing products from one gene, and the different proteins they are formed. Tissue specific protein isoforms, they can be made from a single mRNA. Here you are seeing that the gene, this is the same, but two types of the mRNA they are formed by the way of alternative splicing. For example, the mRNA for the tropomyosin undergoes tissue specific alternative splicing to yield the different isoforms, and this is the way by which we can see that how a less number of genes, 30,000 genes, it can lead to the production of 100,000 proteins, and this is by the way of alternative splicing or by the alternative polyadenylation. Now is the mRNA editing. mRNA editing, here you are seeing the example of the protein which is the you are seeing the mRNA for apolipoprotein. This is the RNA which will undergo different types of editing in the chylomicrons. This is the mRNA which will undergo editing in the liver differently, and in the intestine it will undergo different. An important example is the transcript for the apolipoprotein ApoB. This is the ApoB is the component of chylomicrons and also the VLDL. If the ApoB mRNA is made in the liver, it will be 100% transcribed and it will be called as ApoB100. And if in the intestine, this CAA, it is it's codon for the this CAA, it code for the glutamine, and if its C is enzymatically deaminated to U, it will form the UAA. What will happen that this gene will not be translated completely, and it will be 48% of the gene it will be translated, and it will be stopped here at the stop codon, and at that time this will be called as ApoB48 protein, and this occurs in the intestine, and it is made in the intestine, and then it will be incorporated into the chylomicrons. But if it is in the liver, as I told you before, that ApoB100, a full length of the mRNA, it will be translated, and that ApoB100 it will be incorporated into the VLDL. This is the now another way by which there is the regulation of expression is done. This is by the way of mRNA stability. How long an mRNA remains in the cytosol before it is degraded influences how much protein product can be produced from it. If the protein is not needed, this mRNA will be degraded earlier, and if the protein is needed for the longer time, this mRNA, it will be stabilized by some of the factors. Here we will see the example of transferrin and ferritin. Transferrin is a plasma protein that transports iron. Transferrin binds to the cell surface receptor, transferrin receptor, that are internalized and provide target cells with iron. This is the mRNA for the transferrin proteins, and these have the iron responsive elements at the 3' end. Iron responsive elements. What happens when there is the low iron? This mRNA, it will be translated and transferrin receptors will be synthesized and they provide the cell with the iron. What happens here? These are the iron IRP. They are the iron regulatory proteins. They bind at the cis acting elements at the DNA towards the 3' end, and it will stabilize the mRNA. But when there is high amount of the iron, these IRPs, they bound with the iron, and there will be no bounding of these IRPs on the mRNA, and this will unstabilize or degrade. It will lead to the degradation of mRNA. So no transferrin transferrin receptors, they are made, and there will be degradation of RNA. Opposite mechanism, it occurs when mRNA for the apoferritin, it is regulated. Apoferritin is a protein for the iron storage, and it also has the IREs, but they are at the 5' end instead of 3' end. They are at 5' end. When the iron levels in the cell are low, IRPs, again it binds to the IRE at the DNA and prevent the use of mRNA. Less iron is able to be stored because no proteins are made. But as the iron accumulate in the cell, IRP bound become iron bound and loses its affinity for IRE on mRNA. This results in production of more and more apoferritin molecules which is available to store the excess iron. mRNA stability. This is by the way of RNA interference, interfering RNA by RNAi. RNAi, they are a short piece of about 22 nucleotides long RNA, and when it will bound on the target mRNA, it will degrade. How their RNAi or RNA interference, it is a mechanism of gene silencing because it will either degrade or it will alter the mRNA, and which will lead to the repression of the translation or degradation of mRNA. RNAi is a mechanism of gene silencing through the decreased expression of mRNA, either by repression of translation or by increased degradation. How they are formed? They are formed from the longer precursor of double-stranded RNA, and there is a protein called DROSHA protein, which is the endonucleases. It will inside the nucleus, it will process the RNA into the from pri-miRNA to pre-miRNA, and then within the cytoplasm, another protein it will This is the dicer protein. This is also endonucleases. What it will do, this dicer will generate a short double-stranded miRNA. One of this short RNA, it will serve as a single strand of miRNA. It will bind to the protein called RNA induced silencing complex, RISC. It will bind on RISC, and this guide strand hybridizes with the mRNA. This green color strand, this is the guide strand from the miRNA or siRNA, silencing RNA or RNA interference. It will bind at the mRNA, and cleavage of target mRNA it occurs. This therapy has been used for the treatment of age-related macular degradation, AMD. What happens in this AMD? There is the overproduction of vascular endothelial growth factor, a protein which is called the VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor. In this, the production of VEGF, it leads to sprouting of excess blood vessels behind the retina, and there is the leakage of the blood vessels. That's why it is also called the wet AMD. The SI drug, a short double-stranded RNA, it will target the mRNA of VEGF and promotes its degradation. So when no VEGF is formed, there will be no sprouting of excess blood vessels, no blood vessels will leak, and the vision, it can be improved, or this can be act as the suppression of the production of VEGF protein, and thus prevent the further damage of the retina. Translation of mRNA, phosphorylation of eukaryotic translation initiation factor 2, it inhibits its function. So phosphorylated factors, they are not involved in the translation, and which will inhibit the translation. And this phosphorylation may be in response to the amino acid starvation, heme deficiency, presence of double-stranded RNA, and accumulation of misfolded protein in rough endoplasmic reticulum. Access through modification to DNA. First of all, how the DNA, it regulate the expression. First of all, access to the DNA. There are two forms of the DNA, euchromatin and heterochromatin. Euchromatin, they are active, transcriptionally active, and decondensed chromatin form, which can be transcribed easily. And heterochromatin, it is more condensed and inactive form, and there is the active chromatin contains histone proteins that have been covalently modified, means their positive charges, they are positivity, they are decreased by methylation, acetylation, or phosphorylation, and this relaxes the nucleosome, and the histones, they can be separated from the chromatin, and thus they become the active euchromatin form. And in the nucleosome, they can be repositioned by ATP requiring process, which is called the chromatin remodeling. Another process by which the DNA can be methylated, the DNA can be methylated at the cytosine basis, GC rich region, and the promoter region of many genes. Active genes, they are less methylated. So methylation and chromatin remodeling, heterochromatin and the conversion into the euchromatin and heterochromatin. They are the epigenetic changes. What are epigenetic changes? They are heritable changes, but they do not alter, they also alter the gene expression, but they do not alter the bases. So without alteration of the base sequence, these epigenetic changes, they alter the gene expression. Amount of the DNA. Gene amplification is in response to a particular chemotherapeutic drug such as methotrexate, an inhibitor of the enzyme dihydrofolate reductase required for the synthesis of thymidine triphosphate. So there is the drug which is called the methotrexate. This is the inhibitor of the enzyme or the protein dihydrofolate reductase. When methotrexate is given to the patient, this gene, the gene for the dihydrofolate reductase, their copy number, it is increased. So the number of copies of the gene, it affects the amount of gene product. Increase in the copy number has contributed to increase an amount of proteins and increase amount of the mRNA. Arrangement of the DNA. This is, by the way, a different millions of the copies of immunoglobulins. They are made, they are produced by the beta lymphocytes. They are involved in the permanent rearrangement of the DNA in these cells. Immunoglobulins, for example, if we take the example of IgG, it contains 2 light and the 2 heavy chains, and this light and heavy chains, they contains 1 variable region and 1 constant region. The variable regions, they are developed by a single variable, this V single variable joining J gene segments, and the D, this is the diversity. They are the gene segments, they are brought together to form a unique variable region, and one is the constant region. And by this production, by this way of arrangement of the DNA, there is the generation of millions and trillions of different immunoglobulins from single gene. What are the mobile DNA elements? This is also by the way by which the DNA, it can lead to the regulation. Mobile DNA elements, they are the transposons. They are the segments of the DNA. Transposons, they are segments of the DNA that move in an essentially random manner from one site to another site. This movement can be by the way of 2 mechanisms. One is the direct mean transposons, they cut out and insert the transposon at new site, or they can be the replicative mean the transposons, they are copied and then inserted somewhere in the DNA. In the eukaryotes, replicative transposons frequently involve an RNA intermediate, and in which case the TN, or they are called the retrotransposons. It causes structural variations, alter gene expression, and it can lead to cause several diseases. So this was all about the eukaryotic gene expression. Best wishes, good luck, Allah Hafiz.